Hello friends, and welcome to my Old Coin History Our Coin channel. Here, we explore the fascinating world of coins from around the globe, from rare old coins to modern treasures. If you love history, culture, and collecting, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay connected with our journey into the history of money. The United States of America one dime of 1929, commonly known as the 1929 Mercury dime, stands as one of the most historically rich, artistically admired, economically significant, and culturally symbolic small-denomination silver coins produced during the early 20th century, representing not only the craftsmanship of its era but also the national optimism, industrial expansion, and evolving identity of the United States during the interwar period. And to understand this coin fully, one must look deeply into its design origins, alloy composition, minting technology, symbolism, circulation usage, societal context, numismatic varieties, and long-term market appeal, beginning with its artistic foundation created by Adolph A. Weinman, a master sculptor who revolutionized U.S. coinage with his elegant, soft-flowing neoclassical designs. The obverse of the 1929 dime features the iconic portrait of Lady Liberty wearing a winged Phrygian cap, misinterpreted by the public as the Roman god Mercury, thus giving the coin its popular nickname, Mercury dime, but the wings actually symbolize freedom of thought, a philosophical representation of America's belief in liberty, independent mind, and civic enlightenment. The portrait itself is sculpted with delicate realism, showing curved hair strands, a youthful face, and dynamic symmetry, making it one of the most artistically respected coin obverses in U.S. history, while the reverse side features a fasces, an ancient Roman symbol consisting of bundled rods tied together with a leather thong and centered around a single axe blade, representing strength through unity, justice, and the protective power of the nation, placed alongside an olive branch that symbolizes America's desire for peace, together creating an ideological balance of strength and peace, which was especially meaningful in 1929 when the global political climate was uneasy and the United States was about to face economic catastrophe. Minted in 90% silver and 10% copper, the 1929 dime continues the tradition of U.S. silver coinage purity standards established in the 19th century, weighing 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 17.9 millimeters, featuring a finely reeded edge that helped prevent shaving and fraud, and these precise physical specifications were carefully maintained by the U.S. Mint to ensure stable monetary value during a period when silver still held real economic purchasing power in daily life. The 1929 dime was struck primarily at two U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia, no mintmark, and Denver, D mintmark, with Philadelphia producing the majority, and Denver striking comparatively fewer, making the Denver issue more desirable among collectors. The year 1929 itself is crucial because it marks the final phase of the Roaring Twenties, a decade of industrial boom, new consumer culture, expanding urbanization, economic optimism, and technological innovation. Yet within the same year America plunged into the Great Depression following the October stock market crash, which caused massive unemployment, bank failures, and economic instability, and the 1929 dime circulated heavily during these difficult years as American families stretched every cent and dime to survive, thus giving the coin deep emotional and historical resonance as a witness to one of the most dramatic societal transitions in U.S. history. Worn examples therefore reflect the harsh economic use of the era, while surviving mint state pieces testify to the careful preservation by numismatists who recognized the beauty of Weinman's masterpiece. From a numismatic perspective, collectors evaluate these coins based on strike sharpness, especially hair details, wing feathers, fasces bands, and olive leaves, luster quality, surface condition, and presence of the coveted full band's FB designation, awarded when the horizontal bands across the fasces are fully separated and well defined, a condition requiring an exceptionally strong strike and thus commanding significantly higher market value. The coin also reflects technological aspects of early 20th century minting, including steam-driven coin presses, hand-prepared dies, and transitional die polishing techniques that sometimes produced pleasant die cracks, die clashes, and subtle minting anomalies that collectors today study for variety attribution. Economically, the 1929 dime originally held the purchasing power to buy several everyday items such as bread, fruit, or newspapers, and although inflation has devalued its monetary worth, its silver melt value, collector desirability, historical importance, and artistic prestige have retained and increased its overall worth. Socially and culturally, the Mercury Dimes series 1916-1945 represents the era when American coinage began shifting toward expressive artistic imagery rather than simple utilitarian design, marking a transformation in national identity and aesthetic ambition, and the 1929 dime embodies the spirit of a nation that believed in intellectual freedom, unity, peace, and strength, even while unknowingly approaching one of the most difficult decades in its history. Furthermore, the coin is admired globally by collectors for its balanced design, harmonious symbolism, and enduring beauty that continues to inspire numismatic scholarship, artistic appreciation, and historical reflection. As an artifact, the 1929 United States one dime is much more than a small piece of silver. It is a miniature monument to American resilience, artistic imagination, and economic evolution, carrying within its tiny frame the story of a nation at the height of glory and at the edge of crisis, and its survival today as a treasured collectible reflects its deep connection to the American historical narrative, making it a timeless, meaningful, and profoundly significant coin for historians, collectors, artists, economists, and anyone who appreciates the layered stories embedded in the currency of a nation. Next coin. The United States of America one dime of 1928, known worldwide as part of the celebrated Mercury Dimes series 1916-1945, stands as an extraordinary combination of artistic mastery, national symbolism, economic history, silver standard monetary tradition, and early 20th century minting technology, and to fully understand the depth and richness of the 1928 dime one must explore its design origin, cultural environment, metallurgical composition, minting details, economic role, and its lasting significance in the world of numismatics, beginning with the visionary artistry of Adolph A. Weinman, one of America's most influential sculptors, whose obverse design features the world-famous figure of Lady Liberty wearing a winged Phrygian cap, a symbol of freedom, liberty of thought, and enlightenment in the American spirit. Although popularly nicknamed the Mercury Dime, the figure is not Mercury but rather a personification of liberty, sculpted with delicate realism, flowing hair, a balanced profile, and the dynamic elegance typical of Weinman's classical style, which represented a radical improvement in U.S. coin design at a time when the government sought to beautify its national currency. The reverse of the 1928 dime displays the ancient Roman fasces, a bundle of wooden rods tied around an axe, symbolizing strength through unity, justice, preparedness, and national resolve, partnered with an olive branch that expresses peace, diplomacy, and the United States' aspiration toward global harmony, together forming one of the most philosophically rich designs in American coinage history. Made of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing 2.5 grams with a diameter of 17.9 millimeters and a reeded edge, the 1928 dime adheres to the long-standing U.S. silver standard, making it not only currency but a tangible piece of precious metal wealth circulating in everyday pockets during an era when silver coins were not simply symbolic but held real, intrinsic monetary value. The coin was minted at two major facilities, Philadelphia, no mintmark, and San Francisco's mintmark, each contributing to the year's production, though the San Francisco mintage was significantly lower, making the 1928's particularly sought after by collectors. Understanding the broader American environment of 1928 is essential to grasping the cultural meaning of this dime. It was a year near the end of the Roaring Twenties, a decade of technological innovation, jazz culture, booming industry, expanding urbanization, and economic optimism, but it was also perched on the brink of the catastrophic Great Depression, which would erupt only 1 year later in 1929. Thus the 1928 dime circulated during a time of both national celebration and approaching economic turmoil, making it historically symbolic of the duality between prosperity and fragility in the American economic system. During this era, a dime had the purchasing power to buy several essential items such as bread, fruit, milk, or daily newspapers, meaning the 1928 dime was heavily used in day-to-day commerce, and well-worn examples reflect the struggles and daily rhythms of American life, while surviving uncirculated pieces represent pockets of preserved history that escaped the wear of hard times. Numismatically, collectors examine strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and especially the sharpness of the fasces bands, which determine a full bands FB designation, an indicator of strong die pressure and precise striking that dramatically increases a coin's desirability and market value. The minting technology of the 1920s relied on heavy steam-powered presses and manually prepared dies, which means small variations such as die cracks, polishing lines, weak strikes, die clashes, and subtle mintmark placements are closely studied. Today, as varieties and minting anomalies, economically, the dime's silver content anchors it in the era of precious metal coinage, when inflation had not yet eroded the intrinsic value of small denominations, and even though modern currency has moved away from silver, the 1928 dime retains worth far beyond its face value due to its composition, historic importance, and collector demand. Culturally, the Mercury Dimes series marked America's transition toward artistic and symbolic expression in coinage, moving away from simple utilitarian imagery toward designs embodying ideals of liberty, unity, and peace, and the 1928 example serves as a powerful reminder of a nation confident in its growth yet unaware of the immense challenges soon to come. Over the decades, the 1928 dime has become one of the most cherished artifacts of pre-Depression America, treasured by historians for its documentary value, by collectors for its rarity and beauty, by economists for its relationship to the silver standard, and by artists for its stunning balance of symbolism and design. Each surviving 1928 dime, whether lightly circulated or preserved in radiant mint state, is a miniature monument to American resilience, cultural creativity, and historic continuity, embodying within its tiny silver frame the story of an ambitious nation, an era of transformation, and the enduring legacy of a beautifully crafted coin that continues to fascinate numismatists and inspire admiration nearly a century after it was struck.